Well, hello, happy Monday. Hello and welcome and welcome and hello. Thank you for tuning in once again to Un Poco Mas, the show where we give you just a little bit more. We are talking SoFi stock, ticker symbol SOFI. Toper time check. It's 10:33 a.m. out here in beautiful Los Angeles. That is 1:30 p.m. out in NYC. Hope it's a beautiful day wherever you are on this Monday, July 24th. We are officially less than 1 week, less than 5 trading days away from the Q2 earnings report, which is coming out pre-market in 1 week. And guys, we have a classic battle on our hands, guys. It's the Bulls versus the Bears. I think the Bears are going to come out looking like ass at the end of this. But we're the underdog, guys. It's a David and Goliath story. Plus I just like stuffed animals and little figurines, having little wars. I'm kind of a childish idiot, but you guys probably knew that if you watch this channel. Um, we're the underdog in so many ways here, guys, because not only is every big bank out there, analyst houses, shorts, they want to kill SoFi because SoFi represents a threat to their business and is taking their customers and deposits. Of course, only doing, 2 billion in sales, it's not a huge threat to a company like, a Chase or a Bank of America right now. I mean, certainly they're eating Wells Fargo's lunch pretty good, US Bank, but the company's not a huge threat right now, but that's why they want to, kill the baby, in the crib. They want to get this thing under control, just get it out of the way, beat SoFi down as long as possible, depress their stock price so they can't acquire companies. The stock-based compensation is just not worth as much. A lot of people think, oh, the stock price doesn't matter to running your business, but actually, the stock price actually does matter quite a bit, and it affects a lot of different things. And if you can depress a company's stock price artificially, it's going to hurt the company in a variety of ways. But that's the David and Goliath story. It's not only the huge mega banks and the analysts like the Chia Pets and the JP Morgans that are throwing these sort of off base, illogical ratings at SoFi to kill rallies and just spread FUD. But it's also retail investors versus, the institutions. Right now, retail investors own the majority of SoFi. Institutions have been creeping in again, and I believe they're going to flood in once SoFi hits a gap net profit. But right now, it's a David and Goliath story, guys, in so many ways. But the difference is David is kicking Goliath's ass just like he did with that little, slingshot thing. He's boom. It's kind of like Brad Pitt too. Like a lot of people have compared me to Brad Pitt in just so many ways. We're both very successful, kind of long, flowing, curly hair. Both have those rugged, good looks. Talented actors and personalities, but I don't see it, guys. I don't see the resemblance. Tell me, a lot of you guys say John Candy. I've heard John Goodman. You guys are very kind out there. I like to think of myself as sort of a fat Paul Newman. But anyway, guys, I digress. The SoFi stock is up on the day. We have a totally different chart. We usually get this mountain and then hump pattern. Today we're getting 5 descending peaks and then one big push up here recently. So this is a very odd chart for the SoFi stock. Let's just talk about a couple of things. There are not that many institutions in the stock, as we've talked about, in terms of a percentage. So those that are in, guys, have conviction. They're probably not going to dump the stock if the earnings report's a little bit lackluster, making it indeed harder to short. Let's take, and we know retail's not dumping. Hopefully, retail just doesn't set stupid stop losses that make a short attack easier. Guys, couple key points in this David and Goliath battle. Call volume is decidedly low this week, guys. Coming into earnings, you'd think they'd be just buying the living hell out of these calls. Let me just refresh, make sure I have accurate information up here. But yeah, guys, there's only 2,000 calls at 9. $6,700 at 950 and 10,000 at $10, 4,000 at 1050, 2,000 at 11. So for an earnings week, guys, this is not heavy call volume at all, which bodes very well for longs because if there's a lot of call volume, what tends to happen, as I tell you guys every week, is they run the stock up early in the week. Institutions then dump those calls on retail and then kill them later in the week, also hitting the stock price. But guys, this is getting just harder and harder because there's a lot of buzz around the SoFi stock. Retail investors continue to pile into the stock. I just want to just shoot over to the chart I showed you guys last week. I haven't changed anything here, guys. I called $9.41 as the critical pivot point. The gravity had remained above that level. It flipped right here on July 17th and went above, and the gravity never actually got below that level. I drew these lines in blue the other day, and I speculated that basically it was going to be this case that we were going to move up through $10 pre earnings. And I still contend that is exactly what is going to happen. Just want to take a look at the short interest today, guys. Extremely bearish, if you want to call it that. As they're still calling short interest at 15%. Of the free float. But if you take a look at the borrowed change, guys, it's 6.5 million shares borrowed. So only 2.2 return, almost 9 million borrowed. So it's 6.56 million shares borrowed. And that's only on 15. So I don't think that could be exactly accurate, but they're basically saying like almost half of the churn is borrowed. So this stock has wanted to run something awful today, and they're just shorting the living hell out of it, trying to hold it back. But it's only going to work for so long, guys. At the end of the day, to depress the stock price, you have to short it or you have to sell it. I mean, and they're both selling it. So who's dumping, guys? Whose money are they playing with where they want to short the SoFi stock? I mean, look at the EBITDA, guys. This is not rocket science. If you look at the net profit and the EBITDA, they're basically mirroring each other. They're rising rapidly. EBITDA went from a few quarters ago being, negative to now last quarter 76 million. A lot of people, the stock goat who I love, I just saw his video. He's talking about 100 million in EBITDA this quarter. And I'm not one to argue with the stock goat. So guys, institutions are not going to dump even if the ER is like B plus, B minus, even if David Chiavarini downgrades the stock to $1.25 and a throw it out the window rating and just flush it down the toilet, whatever rating is below sell. I don't know how he downgrades the stock, or probably they'll like reassign it to somebody else, or this time BTIG will downgrade the stock and Compass Point will pump the stock when they want, or these crooked analysts, they'll talk to each other, or they'll work it out. I don't know, that they're coordinating. I don't know that they're breaking any laws. I'm merely speculating based upon their behavior. But guys, if you look at the analyst rating, Andrew Jeffrey with Truist just reiterated his buy again at $11. And I'll point out just once again, he's one of the very best analysts in the country. He gets it right 68% of the time. And on average, out of all his calls, you're going to make a 14% return. Bank of America is again a hold at 10. I always pronounce this guy's name wrong. Mahir Bhatia. It's not even that hard. Mahir Bhatia. He gets it right almost 60% of the time, makes a return. Of course, Morgan Stanley downgraded to sell. Jeffrey Adelson is just a saucy turd. He's a new guy they sent out there to, a lemming to make this ridiculous call, this downgrade into this rally. He gets it right 25% of the time. His average return is 0. And he's just basically a complete turd. He's just a front man sent out there to, and of course the Chia Pet, if you look at his rating, there's 5 stars here. You can barely see it because the only gold part is this tiny, just the tip, guys. He's just the tip of one of the stars. So it's like 10% of 1 star. He's one of the very worst analysts in the country. I would submit, because his job is not to try to be correct or try to give an accurate, fair rating of a stock. His job is to manipulate stocks for short attacks or pumps. I don't have any proof of that. I'm just looking at the evidence in front of my face. His behavior around the last earnings report was completely illogical. His arguments didn't make any sense. Touchdown Dan Dolev basically went on TV and humiliated this turd, as did Anthony Noto. It's not, to me, it can't be honest because I know this guy's intelligent, he's educated. To come out and just look at that ER and say, hey, yesterday I thought the stock was worth $8, and in 2 weeks now I think the stock's worth $2.50 or like less than next year's sales. Guys, for a company growing 33% at the top line with great profit margins pushing toward 20%, could even be higher. I mean, you have to look at it and say it's dishonest in my thinking. Again, I don't have any proof. I'm not accusing the guy of a crime. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not saying he's coordinating with BTIG and the bologna sandwich at Compass Point, and then three analysts downgrade the stock all virtually on the same day with the same language, the same arguments. I mean, just use common sense, guys. Are these organic opinions based on the fundamentals, or are these analysts manipulating the stock to kill a rally or to assist in a short attack? You just have to make up your own mind there. But the point is, just don't set the stop losses when they create the buying opportunities with these fudge short attacks led by turds like the Chia Pet. Just buy the stock if it goes low and you don't see any fundamentals changing. But again, guys, look at the guys who are doing well. This guy Eugene Simuni. He's right 70% of the time. He only has 10 ratings, but he's right 70% of the time. Average return $18. Target on the SoFi stock of $10. This guy Manyi Liu, again DBS. He only has 6 ratings, but he's been right 83% of the time. He's out of 10. Lance Jessurun, he's been 6 out of 6, 100%. He's at 14. Ashwin, he's 60%. He's out of 10. Dan Dolev does not have a good rating on here. He's still right 52% of the time, but I really think this guy's intelligent. I'm not, again, guys, I'm not saying the tip rank star rating is the be all end all, but these are back tested results. He's right only 52% of the time, but he's at a 9. But Andrew Jeffrey is just absolutely the best analyst on this list. If you've heard him, if you've read him, he's extremely intelligent. I really like Kevin Barker too. Um, in all fairness, his target's only $8, but you guys can just look at these ratings and see who the best analysts are, and they're all 10, 11, 14, etc. And the ones that have negative returns. How do you keep this job if your job is to try to be fair, accurate, and right, and you can't even make picks above 50%? Because that's just random, guys. If you're just picking stocks somewhat at random, you'd think you'd be right half the time, particularly if you're a professional, educated analyst. And these guys that are right say just 1/3 of the time. You just have to infer they're not trying to be right. At least that's my interpretation of it. Um, Guys, looking just I want to get you guys out of here. I don't want to go on all day on a Monday. I know you guys have work to do, but there's still just a lot of negativity, a lot of FUD. Out there. And again, Seeking Alpha, I love Seeking Alpha. They're very, very fair, but a lot of people are just, they're just hawkish. They're just bearish on the SoFi stock, and I can't blame people, guys. What's happened around, virtually every single, and the SoFi stock's moving up, guys, while I'm blah blahing. It's 10:46 a.m. out here in Los Angeles. SoFi stock's moved up 10 cents or 1.1% on the day. Chart looking very, very strong, guys. And remember, I was telling you last week, guys, 941 was the key level. If that support holds, it goes back up through $10. And again, guys, this is the chart I drew last week. Those little scribbles in blue, these were all the areas of support. Pardon me. And we could add just another area of new support in there, and just say, guys, right here, support again. So this is I realize, guys, this broke down here, um you know but this is perfect, guys. This is a perfect setup. This is exactly what you want to see. And the SoFi stock remains extremely resilient. We don't see any appetite for selling the stock below $9.41, leading me to believe it's got to push over $10, because there's just going to be a ton of buying pressure ahead of earnings. I have to believe some of these shorts are smart enough to cover, and I have to believe they see Noto buying millions and millions and millions of dollars worth of stock with his own money, and they know one of these times he's going to dial up a big surprise. It's just whenever he wants to do it, whenever he thinks it's the most advantageous. I think whenever he has shorts in the deepest that he can, he's going to dial up a net profit. And I know he has to do that during the quarter. He has to make some adjustments, but him and Lapointe know these numbers very, very well, and I just don't see. I don't see him buying all those shares, because he's stupid and he doesn't know what he's doing, and the company's going to go out of business based on the, you know, personal loans, and they're never going to get any. And that's another point, guys. I'll just make in terms of the SoFi stock, in terms of fairness, in terms of how bears are looking at things. Like all the headwinds they're talking about are basically short term external stuff. Nothing they're talking about goes out 5 and 10 years, such as like these high interest rates that are, kneecapping the size of the student loan refinancing opportunity. I think everyone believes over the next, year to 2 years, whatever it is, we're going to get inflation down and get interest rates back down, and then refinancing activity will pick back up and home loans will pick back up. So they don't really attack the fundamentals of the business or the strategy over time in terms of what SoFi is building. They don't attack that Galileo and Technesis have great, software and a good product. I just don't hear them attacking the company. Like a lot of people attack, um, like uh, like the payday lenders, and the installment lenders, Upstart and Affirm, and these sort of companies because they're lending to people who really can't afford what they're buying. But that's not the case with SoFi. SoFi is extremely disciplined. SoFi has one of the fastest growing banks in the United States. Growing their deposits at least $2 billion every quarter, extremely high rate of direct deposit, never discussed by the analysts, the bears. The bearish analysts never talk about Galileo in their valuations. They're just like, okay, value SoFi as a bank. SoFi has a lot of debt. SoFi's issued a lot of stock, but they say that in a vacuum, like they didn't use that to buy Galileo and Technesis and Wyndham Capital Mortgage and several other smaller companies, I believe, over time. But just Galileo Technesis represents, I think, like 2.3 billion in expenditure, and that hasn't really fully paid off yet. It hasn't even fully been integrated into SoFi Bank yet. I think they're going to complete all that next year, and they haven't landed those big clients yet. But Noto is telling us they're working on that. So I think the Bears, their arguments are never long term against SoFi. So if you're a long term bullish investor, I think you have to take that as an extremely positive sign that they're just. Nobody attacks this business. Nobody is able to attack management and the executive team for how they have navigated this years long student loan pause. I mean, it has been extraordinary how this company has pivoted, reinvented itself, continued to execute, continued to grow without missing a hitch. So, guys, what do you think is going to happen this week? I predict we're going to move up through $10 probably tomorrow or early on Wednesday. What's going to happen after that? I have no idea. A lot of it depends on how many calls there are out there. Do the shorts go ahead and attack even before the ER? Do they start to cover? I just can't predict these things, guys, but the chart to me looks extremely bullish. I see strong support down there in the high 930s, low 940s, and I just see no appetite to sell the stock. And I think shorts are running scared. I think they're trapped. I think they should have covered down at $5, and they just decided, we're going to attack the SoFi stock again because hell, we're playing with other people's money. We don't care, and we just want to drown the baby in the bathwater and then throw them both out because, guys, this is an outstanding company firing on all cylinders, about to make a net profit. And I believe at that time, institutions are going to load in and shorts are going to be absolutely screwed. 1 week from earnings, guys. It's very, very exciting. It's Monday morning out here in Los Angeles, Monday afternoon in the East Coast, and the SoFi stock looks very, very strong despite being heavily, heavily shorted today. They just cannot push it down because shorts are weak sauce turds and punk ass. Anyway, guys, my name's Danny Deals. The show is Un Poco Mas for Hurricane Lopez and my good friend, Stock Karen. We would like to say goodbye and thank you for watching, and we'll talk to you again real soon about the SoFi stock, ticker symbol SOFI. You guys have a great rest of your Monday.